I'm here today to show you the new Black Sabbath Live Evil Super Deluxe Edition. This is the 4LP vinyl version. It contains 2 double LPs and is basically a memento of the 1982 Mob Rules tour. So let's see what's inside. If you listen to fools, the mob rules. This is when the band featured Ronnie James Dio on vocals, Tony Iommi on lead guitar, of course, Geezer Butler on bass guitar, and Vinny Appice on drums. This is what's called an insert. We actually put these on the back to give you the track listing, but also more information about what the contents are and what the additional features are. You can even frame it if you feel so inclined. It's always important to me they're small enough to fit inside the box, but also to give the information you want. Because also we've got quite a nice design that's quite simple on the back. There's no track information on the back there. The first thing is a replica of the Mob Rules tour program, which is quite nice, featuring the Devil's Horns there. These things were popular in the sort of 70s and 80s, and I guess bands still do them now. There's a memento, a souvenir from the show, but there's some great shots of the band in here. Just give you a flavour of the year and a flavour of the tour. Great live shot there. Also an advert, I first saw this in Kerrang in 1981, November 1981, the advert for the Mob Rules album. So that's the tour book. Merchandise obviously very important for touring. I believe there's a replica of the poster that was sold on tour at the time. Again, they've got the Devil Horns motif with Ronnie, Geezer, Tony and Vinny playing live. Suitable for framing. Now, one of the things that makes this very heavy box set even heavier is this lovely 40-page hardback book. Kind of details the whole history of Ronnie joining the band in 1979 and going through the 2 studio records, the live record, but also the various reunions, including Heaven and Hell later on. An alternative tour book, I think that's from the American tour, with the Mob Rules artwork featured. And it was nice to include lots of things like adverts and pin badges. As a fan, I'd love to sort of see all this, and I hope the other fans do. There's a nice sort of blow up of a multi-track, essentially what we went to reproduce the audio here. There's a UK advert from when the album came out in January 1983. I mean, one of the important things about this record is virtually all the classic hard rock and heavy metal bands of the 70s and early 80s had a classic double live album. Black Sabbath were one of those bands that hadn't been serviced that well with regards to a live record. There had been something that was unsanctioned that was released in 1980, and essentially one of the purposes of Live Evil was to right the wrongs of that particular record by putting out a kind of definitive Black Sabbath record. And the sound on it, with Tony and Tony's guitar and Geezer Butler's bass guitars are crushingly heavy. Ronnie's vocals are peerless, and Vinny Appice doing a great job on drums. One of the things we included is every tour date from the Mob Rules Live Evil tour, which started in Canada in 1981 and ended at Poplar Creek in Illinois on August 31st, 1982. So it's quite a hefty tour. And here's the most important bit, the music. So there's the original LP in the more important gatefold sleeve, with a collage of shots from the actual tour itself. The original didn't come with actual inner bags, so what we've done is we've got poly-lined black inner bags. So you know what vinyl looks like. One thing I found interesting is on the early dates of the tour, they did try other songs from for instance, Mob Rules. But for all the set lists I've seen from the 1982 tour, it did actually stick to the same set list. There was very little variation from these songs. which is actually kind of fairly evenly split between the original lineup's songs and the Ronnie era songs, which is quite nice. I always liked how Ronnie approached the old songs as much as I love the Ronnie era songs. And finally, we have the Black Sabbath Live Evil 40th Anniversary remix. This was remixed by Wyn Davis, who's got a long history with Black Sabbath and Heaven and Hell. And he's done a great job in bringing the sounds and a greater degree of clarity to the mix. What was interesting, although the original album did quote some of the actual cities it was recorded in, going back to the original multi-tracks actually gave us the specific venues and the specific dates. So we now know it was recorded in Seattle in April 1982, San Antonio, but also one track was recorded in Dallas. Black Sabbath was recorded in Dallas. Again, lovely gatefold sleeve. And again, nice black poly-lined inner bags. And it quite literally is heavy, so we give you Live Evil 40th Anniversary Edition.